Welcome, everybody. This is Paula, and I am here cooking tonight one of my favorite dishes. It is um, wild mushrooms or wild rice, mushrooms, and chicken soup. And I'm going to do a creamy version tonight that happens to be dairy free. So here I've got my pan all ready to go. I've got chopped onions and garlic in this bowl. I have chopped chicken breast in this bowl. Back here, I have my wild rice all ready to go, and then I have my mushrooms all set to go. I have seasonings over here that are ready to go. I'm going to be using thyme and rosemary for this one. I really like thyme and rosemary with chicken dishes. They both lend themselves very nicely. All right, we're starting to get a little sizzle out of our onions here. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw the rest of the onion and the garlic into the bowl. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start the saute process with the onions and the garlic. So we're going to get these kind of cooking down just a little bit. And then this one, when the onions start looking more translucent, that is when you know they are ready to add the chicken. So we'll be adding our chicken here in just a few minutes. So we will be right back. All right, my onions are cooking down, so they're kind of starting to get a little more of a translucent color. I'm going to go ahead and add in my chicken breast. So I'm just going to add in all the chopped chicken breasts that I have. That's two pretty large chicken breasts in like one of those big bags of chicken breasts. Costco ones are unusually large, I have to say. Okay, so then we're just going to brown this or cook. We're going to cook the chicken all the way through. So this is going to take probably, 10, maybe 15 minutes, depending on the temperature that you're cooking at. I currently have it on like medium high. I'll probably turn it down to, medium ish, just because I don't want it to cook too fast, because then sometimes it doesn't cook great, and then you get a weird texture, or you get a weird kind of not so done or a poorly done piece of meat. So we will come back as soon as we are ready to add our mushrooms. All right, my chicken is cooking down. It's developing a little bit of moisture. Now I'm going to add in my mushrooms. And so this was probably, it was a full bowl of that. So I would say that's probably 2 to 2.5 cups of chopped mushrooms. And I use a combination of white mushrooms, and then I love portobello or the baby cremini, however you want to call them. I use those two in prevalence. I'm a little obsessed with mushrooms, much to my roommate's dismay, but he eats what I cook, so that's how that works out. So I love mushrooms, and they are so good for you. They offer really good immune-boosting antioxidant, just all kind anti-inflammatory. Mushrooms are like the wonder fungus. So we're going to let those cook down. I am going to start building my flavor profile. So I'm going to very quickly add in my thyme. And I'm going to go pretty heavy on the thyme with this one. I'm going to probably go about a full tablespoon to a bit more. And then on my rosemary, I'm going to probably do a teaspoon, probably would be close. And then we're going to do a tablespoon of pepper. And then just about a teaspoon of salt on this. We don't want a lot of salt because the sodium will come from our chicken stock here in just a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to just mix this up just a little bit. You can see, and it smells so yummy. Oh my goodness, the flavors just are coming together so nicely. All right, we're going to let this cook down for just a few minutes, and then we'll start adding in our liquids. So I'm going to use coconut milk, and then I'm going to use organic chicken stock as my two liquid bases. And then we're just going to let it kind of simmer all down from there. This is wonderful. All right, now we've got our mushrooms cooked down. We've got our onions, our garlic, and our chicken. Now I'm going to add my coconut milk. Whoops, not the lid too. I did. That's always good. Okay, and then we're going to add our chicken stock. And what I'm going to do, because I like to try to get the rest of this yummy lovin', this also helps me kind of measure, because this is 13 ounces, sort of helps. 13 ounces of chicken stock to that. That gets most of that liquid out of there, and then I'm going to continue to add just because I want this to be a certain consistency. And then it also will off balance a little bit of the coconut, because coconut milk does have a coconut essence. So a couple ways that will balance that out. I'll add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I use raw and unfiltered, the mother, as we call it. Apple cider vinegar to this. It'll give it just a little bit of a tang as well. So it kind of emulates just a little bit of a sour cream essence. Then I am going to add just a bit more turkey stock or chicken stock. All right. And then let me get the apple cider vinegar here. And this is the kind of stuff that you kind of always have to shake up pretty good. And I don't have a regular measuring spoon, so I'm just going to use one of my tablespoons from my drawer. And here we go. So we're going to add, we're going to start with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and see how that gets it, where that gets us. We'll know here real quick once I get it kind of mixed in. So this is, oh, it's going to be so good. I get so excited about this soup just because it's just one of my favorite easy, warm, comforting foods. That's pretty yummy. The other thing I think I'm going to go ahead and add is I'm going to add some goat cheese in this. I think it could use a little bit of that creaminess that goat cheese is going to offer. I also love goat's cheese. So we're going to go ahead and just cut up a little goat's cheese and throw some goat cheese in here. If you're going to eat cheese, you might as well eat the good cheese. Don't just eat production, cheap cow's milk cheese. Eat cheese that's good for you. Eat cheese that has good benefit. And doesn't have all, because, you know, orange cheeses are bad. They're really dyed. That's just really bad for you. So there's a lot of healthier options that have much better flavor. So I'm just going to break up this goat's milk cheese here. Ooh, I can already feel the yumminess coming about. So we're just going to plop that in there, and then we'll let that kind of heat up and break down. And then we'll come back in a few minutes once this starts simmering and all cooks together. Okay, I did add another tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I added some goat's milk, and now I'm going to add in the very last element, which is my cooked wild rice. So now we're going to just throw this in, and I'm going to use all of it because I like it to be quite hearty. I also love this wild rice, so I'm going to keep it pretty full of it. So we're just going to add this in. It's especially imperative to pre-rinse your wild rice because a lot of times these darker rice berries, and there's one in here specifically called rice berry, will turn things a very pretty purple color. So I don't think that'll happen this time. I think I've let it sit long enough and it has absorbed the water back in, so we should be good. All right, so now I've got all of this mixed together. Let's just mix it up. Take a little bite here. Now it's coming along nicely. So now all we got to do is just kind of let everything cook down, simmer down. I'll probably cook this on a low simmer with a lid on because I don't want it to lose a lot of moisture. I kind of want to keep it about this consistency. It's creamy, but it's not like thick and creamy, if that makes sense, because I don't want this to be too thick. It's going to lose a little bit of the liquid just in the evaporation process, so I want to keep as much as I can with keeping the lid on. So as soon as this kind of gets up to a little bit of a boil here, I'm going to turn it down to a low simmer, depending on if it's an electric stove, somewhere between low and 2 is what I usually do on mine. I have a glass cooktop, so that would be pretty comparable to, I think, an electric stove. Okay, now you're seeing the, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there are bubbles starting to come up, so we're starting to come to boil here. Just because I want to have one more taste before I put the lid on. Just because I can. Yum. Okay. Now that we've got it boiling, putting the lid on, turning it down between low and 2, and we're going to let that simmer down for about 20 minutes now. Okay, it has been about 20 minutes, and this has just been cooking down, and you can just see how delicious and thick and yummy and wonderful it looks. I'm going to just pull a little bowl here and just put in just a little bit so everybody can see just how awesome it truly does look. And it is super hot, so I don't probably want to take too big of a bite, but I am going to take a bit of a bite here. Oh, it's a nice cold night. This is going to be like the best evening with nice, warm, yummy soup. I'm going to pair this with Normandy vegetables, which are broccoli, cauliflower, and 2 different kinds of carrots. And oh wow, what a great dinner tonight, guys. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for enjoying it. And if anybody has any questions, leave comments. You can also reach me at Mookie, MOOKI _friends at yahoo.com. That's my email address for what I'm doing here. Reach out to me there, and you can ask questions, and I will get them answered. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.